doesn't happen the way you think it will. There's no single morning where you wake up and it's obvious. No dramatic moment where you look in the mirror and everything has changed overnight. It happens in the margins. The hairline that looks the same every day until one photo from a certain angle shows something you can't unsee. The fade that starts looking thinner between cuts, even though your barber is doing exactly what he's always done. By the time most black men consciously notice they're losing hair, the process has been running for months, sometimes years. The follicles have already been shrinking. The density has already been dropping. The window has already been narrowing. This video exists because that window, the one where intervention actually changes outcomes, is earlier than most people think, and most men find out about it after it's already started closing. If you're watching this and your hair still looks full, this is the most important time for you to watch it. If you're watching this because you've already noticed something changing, you're in the right place. Either way, what I'm about to tell you is the information most men never receive until it's too late to use it. Why black men are disproportionately affected. Let me start with the biology, because this is where the conversation usually gets skipped over. And skipping it is exactly why most men end up treating the wrong problem. The primary driver of early hair loss in men is a hormone called DHT, dihydrotestosterone. Your body converts testosterone into DHT through an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase, and DHT attaches to receptors in your hair follicles. When DHT binds to a sensitive follicle, it begins a process called miniaturization. The follicle gradually shrinks, produces thinner and weaker hair with each cycle, and eventually stops producing visible hair altogether. This process is slow, it's silent, and it starts years before you see it in the mirror. Here's why this hits black men specifically hard. Coily hair's natural curl pattern and density variation makes early follicle miniaturization significantly harder to detect than it is on straight hair. On straight hair, thinning creates visible gaps quickly because the hair lays flat and the scalp becomes visible through it. On coily hair, the curl creates the illusion of density even as individual follicles are shrinking. The hair fills space visually while the actual density is dropping. By the time coily hair looks thin, the underlying follicle loss is often much further along than the visual suggests. You're months or years behind the actual timeline of what's happening because your hair texture was hiding it. Beyond the biology, there are cultural patterns that accelerate the damage. Tight styles, high-tension do-rags worn incorrectly over years, repeated mechanical stress on the same hairline zones. These create a layer of traction damage on top of whatever DHT sensitivity already exists. And the systemic reality, dermatology as a field has historically undertreated black men's hair loss, misdiagnosed it as cosmetic, or offered solutions designed for different hair textures. The convergence of those three factors, biological sensitivity, cultural habits, and systemic medical gaps, is why early hair loss hits black men at rates that aren't reflected in the mainstream conversation about baldness. The warning signs most men miss. Before I tell you what type of hair loss you might be dealing with, I want you to self-assess right now, because the warning signs come before visible thinning, and most men have at least one of them without connecting it to what's actually happening. Check your pillow tomorrow morning. Check the shower drain after washing. Check your do-rag when you take it off. More hair than you used to see in those places is often the first sign, not the mirror. Your mirror shows you the result of months of accumulation. Your pillow shows you what's happening right now. Pull up a photo of yourself from 2 years ago and compare your hairline to today. Not your imagination of your hairline. An actual photo. Same lighting, same angle. The hairline doesn't lie in photos the way memory does. If the temples look different, if the corners have moved, if the front of the hairline sits further back than it did, that's documentation, not speculation. Run your hand across your crown with your eyes closed. Feel the difference in resistance between the crown and the sides. Dense hair pushes back against your hand. Thinning hair offers less resistance. Most men have never done this comparison consciously, but the difference between a dense zone and a thinning zone is palpable once you know to look for it. And the less obvious signs, scalp tenderness, persistent itching, or unusual flaking in specific zones. These are often symptoms of follicle inflammation that precedes and accompanies active hair loss. The types of hair loss black men actually experience. Now that you've done the self-assessment, here's what you might be dealing with, because the type determines the treatment, and treating the wrong type doesn't work. Traction alopecia is the most common and the most preventable. It comes from repeated mechanical tension on the same zones. Tight braids, tight do-rags worn with too much compression, tight lining up in the same hairline spots over years. The damage accumulates slowly and shows up first at the temples and front hairline, where tension is typically highest. Caught early, it's reversible. Caught after scarring has occurred, it isn't. CCCA. Central centrifugal cicatricial alopecia is a scarring alopecia that starts at the crown and spreads outward in a circular pattern. It's significantly more common in black men and women than in any other demographic, and it's frequently misdiagnosed or dismissed entirely. The scarring destroys follicles permanently, which is why early detection and dermatologist involvement is essential. If your crown is the primary area of concern and you notice tenderness or sensitivity there, this is the type that most urgently requires professional evaluation rather than home care alone. Androgenetic alopecia is DHT-driven pattern baldness, the type I described in the biology section. It typically affects the temples and front hairline first, then the crown, following a recognizable pattern. This is the type most likely to start in the early to mid-20s for black men with higher DHT sensitivity. It's progressive, but it's also the type with the most established medical interventions available. Telogen effluvium is temporary mass shedding triggered by stress, illness, or nutritional deficiency. The hair loss looks alarming because it's diffuse and sudden, large amounts of hair coming out across the whole head, rather than in a specific pattern, but it's temporary. Once the trigger is addressed, the follicles return to their normal growth cycle. If you experience significant stress, illness, or a period of poor nutrition several months before noticing increased shedding, telogen effluvium is likely the cause. The reason it matters which type you have is this. Removing tension stops traction alopecia from progressing, but it won't grow back hair loss to CCCA. DHT blockers can slow androgenetic alopecia, but do nothing for telogen effluvium. Every intervention is type-specific. A general hair loss routine, applied without knowing the type, is guesswork. This is why I'll say clearly, this video gives you the knowledge to take informed action, but a dermatologist who understands textured hair gives you the diagnosis that makes that action precise. If any of those 4 types just described what you've been noticing, subscribe right now. What comes next is the intervention stack. What to do starting tonight in order of impact. Stay with me. What to do right now. Here's the system, structured by priority. The highest impact action first, because if you only do one thing, it should be the right one. Priority 1, remove the cause. This is the most important step, and the one most men skip because it requires changing something they're attached to. If traction alopecia is contributing to your loss, no topical treatment works while the tension continues. Loosen your do-rag. It should be secure, not straining. Extend recovery time between tight installs. Stop lining up in exactly the same spot every 2 weeks if that spot is showing recession. The cause has to stop before anything else can work. Priority 2, rebuild the scalp foundation. Your follicles need a clean, nourished, well-circulated environment to produce their best possible hair. Add a daily 2-minute scalp massage in the areas of concern. The same circulation principle from the beard video applies here. Consistent stimulation increases blood flow to follicles that need it most. A small amount massaged into the thinning areas a few times a week keeps the follicle environment nourished without the heavy buildup that blocks growth. The scalp is the soil. If the soil is unhealthy, nothing grows well regardless of what else you do. Priority 3, address the internal factors. Hair loss is frequently accelerated by nutritional deficiencies that most men have never tested for. Iron, zinc, biotin, and vitamin D are the most commonly deficient nutrients in men experiencing accelerated hair loss, and deficiency in any one of them can significantly worsen whatever genetic or mechanical loss is already occurring. Ask your doctor for a full blood work panel that includes these markers. This isn't optional information. It's potentially the difference between a treatable deficiency driving your loss and a pattern that's purely genetic. Know which one you're dealing with. Priority 4, professional evaluation for anything beyond traction alopecia. CCCA requires a dermatologist. Advanced androgenetic alopecia has medical options, PRP therapy, finasteride for appropriate candidates, that a qualified doctor can walk you through with full information about what they do, what they don't do, and what the side effects are. I'm not recommending any specific medical treatment because that's not my place, and it depends entirely on your individual situation. What I'm recommending is that you stop trying to solve a medical problem with only a grooming routine when medical options exist. Find a dermatologist who specializes in textured hair. They exist, their numbers are growing, and the conversation you have with them is the most important hair conversation you'll ever have. The prevention mindset. For everyone watching this whose hair still looks full, This section is the most valuable thing in the video for you. Prevention is the most powerful intervention available because it works before the follicle damage that can't be undone. Everything in priority 1 and 2 from the previous section is prevention when applied before loss begins. Loose styles, correct do-rag tension, weekly scalp care, annual blood work. These are the habits that keep your follicles healthy during the years when DHT sensitivity and traction pressure are silently accumulating. The warning signs from earlier in this video become your annual self-check. Once a year, pull up a current photo and compare it to a photo from a year ago. Run your hand over your crown and feel for density changes. Check your pillow and your shower drain for shedding patterns. This takes 5 minutes. It's the difference between catching something in year 1 and catching it in year 3. Year 1 is treatable. Year 3 is damage control. The title of this video made a promise. What to do before it's too late. Here's the honest answer to that promise. The window is open right now for most people watching this. Follicles that are miniaturizing can be supported, slowed, and in some cases, stabilized. Follicles that have fully scarred cannot be recovered. The difference between those two outcomes, for traction alopecia, for CCCA caught early, for androgenetic alopecia addressed in its early stages, is almost entirely determined by when the intervention happened, not how expensive the treatment was, not how committed the person was once they started, when they started. You started today. That matters more than you know. Tell me in the comments, how old were you when you first noticed something changing in your hairline or crown? I want to see those numbers because I think most men will realize they're not as alone in the timeline as they thought. If you know a brother who's been dismissing early signs as just stress or just genetics, send him this video. This is the information that changes what he does next. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm going deep on each hair loss type individually in the coming videos, starting with traction alopecia and CCCA. You don't want to miss those. I'll catch you in the next one.